Welcome to the SDA AutoCAD Electrical Training Module for inserting schematic components. In this episode, I'd like to talk specifically about inserting schematic components onto a schematic through panel lists. Oftentimes in protection and control projects, we have connection diagrams and wiring diagrams that don't necessarily have schematics, and when you're designing using regular AutoCAD, you don't necessarily need to have schematics for certain panels. So in AutoCAD Electrical you do, and so I'd like to show you how to use the data within those connection diagrams and wiring diagrams in your projects to insert schematic symbols. So in this project, this is the main project file, and it's broken up into all these different subpanels. Our line panels, our breaker panels, some transform panels, and down here is my AC distribution panel that's going to power some of these control circuits. And so I'd like to use the data and the circuit breaker tags from this panel in order to insert onto this AC drawing. So how I'm going to do that is I'll go and zoom into this cable 2600S, and to my right here is my circuit breaker panel, and I'd like to insert CB1 onto the schematic. So to do that, I will go to the Schematic tab, and under the Insert Components icon menu drop down, I can select Panel List. I'm going to select the project because this connection diagram for this AC distribution panel is sort of buried in my project. So I'm going to read from the project file, and I'm going to go ahead and save this to an external list to illustrate how you can save these files to external lists and actually put them into Vault for multiple users to be able to draw from. I'll select per project, and then I'll scroll down to CD2, process that single drawing, and hit OK. Save it as a CSV file. I'm going to go ahead and browse to a folder that I know I keep these files in, and it's very good practice to keep these files in a centralized location for users to use. That's why I recommend checking it into Vault. So we'll go to the Documents, and we're going to name this just AC Distribution Panel. Now it go ahead and saves that to the external file for later use, and brings up the project components that are contained in that. So I'll select CB1. I'll make sure that I use the panel footprint tag, since this entire connection diagram here is already populated with the tags. I'll draw it from there as opposed to using some auto-generated scheme based on my drawing or project properties. I'll hit Insert. Now there's no symbol to copy on this drawing, and there's also two wires here, the black and the white. So what I want to do is go to the icon menu, and through the icon menu you can create and use the command WD_2unit, so that when you select that icon to insert these circuit breakers, you get the parent symbol, and then you can build down and also auto insert the child symbol. Brings up all my description information that I want that has been contained in this AC distribution connection diagram. The only thing I have to add here is the terminals, and I have terminal 1 and 3. So this component, parent circuit breaker, will get the terminal 1 attribute, and the child on the bottom will get the 3 attribute for that terminal. So that's going to match up. I can either show these or hide them. What I'd probably like to do though is show them, because it'll allow the drafter or designer or engineer to see which terminals this is being connected to, and it's, I guess, more information is better than less. So that's going to be term 1, or rather term 2. And this AC source number 1 is the location code, and that's kind of convenient to use as a description for this component location box. So now that I have that connected, I have my cable defined. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then I can obviously click on the right window here, but I'll go ahead and surf to there. And the pound sign or hashtag tells me that they are connected and linked. And so what I'll do at this point is just go to the SDS Panel WD tab in the SDS Toolkit and select the Annotate. Not Annotate Single Pick though, I'll just annotate the entire thing. I can configure this however I want to, but our standard is just to accept the defaults. This is going to be a cable tag anyway, so once I do that, wait for it to build the wire to from report, read from that, and get my cable annotation. Now that I have my cable annotation appearing, I can go ahead and draw this cable out. And for that, I will stay under the SDS Panel WD and go to the Cable Fan in WD. All these defaults are exactly what I'm looking for, so I'll just select these 2 bits of annotation, hit enter twice, and then draw out the cable. Now under this export cable description, I can just put, I would say 120 volt AC control house panel, AC panel, and hit OK and OK. Now I have my cable, so what I'll do here is I'll surf back to the schematic, and what I would do then is surf to my breaker connection diagram and annotate TB235 and TB237 and draw the cable in, and that's how you use panel lists to populate your schematics.